Good morning, Universal Spirit Center. Good to see you this morning. Oh, it's morning somewhere. This is my morning. It's hard to explain, but this is now my morning time. Once I leave here, I come here at night, and then I leave in the morning. Gonna make a change for once in my life. Gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street without enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? A summer's disregard, somebody's broken heart, and washed out dreams. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see. 'Cause you got nowhere to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm looking at the face in the mirror. I'm asking me to change my ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that change. Na 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 na. Oh yeah. Been a victim of a special kind of love. It's time that I realize there are some with no home, not a nickel alone. Could it be really me, pretending that I'm not alone? A widow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart, and washed out dreams. They follow the patterns of the wind, you see. 'Cause we got nowhere to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the face in the mirror. And I'm asking it to change your ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that change. I'm starting with the face in the mirror. I'm asking me to change my ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. You gotta get it right while you got the time. You can't close your mind of that man in the mirror. I'm asking you to change your ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that change. Oh, yeah. Keep that clapping going right there. Let's give some love for the sounds of spirit. Linda on keys, Oliver on bass, Matt on drums. In our production booth, we have Christabel on video production, Myron on lights, and Ryan on sound. And I am Gino Walker, your musical production director. Na 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 na. Oh, it's gonna feel real good now. Oh, yeah, we're gonna make that change. Take a look in the mirror and see the person that you're waiting for is you to make that change. Ooh, 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 ooh. gonna make a change. You're gonna make a change. I'm gonna make a change. We're gonna make a change. We're gonna make a change. Make that change. Don't sit down. Now's not the time to sit down. This is the time to stand up. Y'all been up, what? Y'all just got up, right? You just got up. I just got up. You just got up. Come on. Time to get some energy. It's time to sing our congregational song, I Am the Divine. Send some love out to our beautiful Amy Steinberg. We love you, Amy. She's doing some amazing things out in the world. So let's get ready. Let's sing out. Let's wake up those vocal cords. Let's wake up the body. Here we go. The light of love shines through me. The light of love shines. The light of love shines through me. I am divine. My mind lives peacefully. Peace is in my mind. My mind lives peacefully. I am divine. A little change here. Love and peace shines and lives. Love and peace grows and gives. Love and peace is in my heart and in my mind. I am divine. Come on. The light of love shines through me. The light of love shines. The light of love shines through me. I am divine. You are divine. We are what? I don't know if I believe that. We are what?
Wow, that's our own Gina Walker. We love you. Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Armentrout. I'm one of our prayer practitioners here at the center. I'm also the administrative director here at Universal Spirit Center. Reverend Kevin is our senior minister, and he has a Sunday off. How about that? And I said I was going to say good morning. It's very. How many people thought it was so weird to sleep in? Yeah. I felt bad. So we have a fun evening prepared for you. We have a beautiful special guest speaker. Reverend Dr. Guy Williams is here to speak for us. And afterwards, we're going to share some food. There was a potluck, so if you brought something, great. If you didn't, please stay and have something to eat with us. So especially if you're here for the very first time, a hearty welcome to you. We are a progressive, inclusive spiritual community that we like to say we create experiences of love, divine love, so that they can transform us and thereby transform the world. So you've landed in a happy, friendly place, and we welcome you. I'd love to meet you afterwards. There are contact cards in the seat pockets in front of you on the flight. So pick those up, fill those out, and put it in the basket as it goes by later on. We had a beautiful Friday night experience here. The very famous and wonderful Ricky Byers was here, and Gina's prepared a little short video that we're going to look. Christabel's going to put that up right now for us. Imagine singing, clapping. Look at There's Randall singing up a storm. While we're watching, let's acknowledge Kathleen Cienfuegos for this beautiful backdrop here. Yes. Yeah. So it was a lovely time. You know what we learned? We learned that we can put on a pretty fabulous event. So look for more events like that, and please look for events to have here. So talk us up. This is a great venue to do that. We're waiting for the sound. How many people were born in June? If you were born in June, stand up. Stand up. Roberto. Very nice. What sign are you? Gemini. Good. Geminis and Cancers, I think, on June. So happy birthday. Are we going to work more on that? We're going to let it go by? Let it go by, because it was a beautiful time. Especially a big shout out to Gina, who was the force behind that. Big force behind the very successful concert. The sound is online. No, that's okay. That's all right. We'll let it go by. We'll do it later. So now we're going to invite Al up, and he's going to tell us about the Healing Prayer Circle class coming up.
Hello, my name is Al Floyd, and on July 1st this year, it'll be 3 years since my best friend died, Shmuel, and he was my friend for 30 years. And when he died, I grieved, which you're going to say, well, that's normal, Al. But for me, I had quit grieving in 1971 when I was 19 years old in Vietnam and saw too much stuff too quick that I just had to shut down everything to survive. And the one thing I found out about grief is it doesn't go away. And so I found myself with, he died on a Friday, and by Sunday, I am now starting to feel 51 years of grief. And it's like, I don't know what to do with this. And as God would have it, on Sunday, Borg Hill was announcing that a grief class is going to be starting the next week. And I'm thinking to myself, Al, it's obvious you don't know how to deal with grief. You might want to do this workshop. And so I did. I got a couple of tools. The biggest tool for me was I started to write letters. Goodbye letters, amends letters, forgiveness letters. And I just kept writing and writing and writing. Last year, through one of the many things we get to do at this center, Gino led a pack of wild wolves to Washington, D.C. last April. And it only took 53 years, but I made peace with the war. And it is a direct result of this grief workshop. And what I can say is, since last April, I have felt a peace I never knew could have existed. I did not know what a heavy burden the grief had taken on me, because I didn't even know it was there. And I'm sure we've all got something going on that we sloughed aside, forgot about, but there is now a charge for this class. But to me, this class was priceless, and I believe it was Dwight Eisenhower who said, this class will give you a big bang for your buck, and that's what I got.
I was just going to say good morning. Good afternoon. I'm Bob Mosai, and I have the rest of your announcements. First of all, first Saturday with Angels and Margot. Laura, please stand up, Margot, over there. From 10 a.m. to noon, that's here at the center. And then Thursday night, Awakening Heartfelt Collective, third Thursday at 7 p.m. with Rev Angela. There she is. music, inspiration, and connection waiting for you. We're asking for a love offering. And if you have any questions about these announcements or what Al talked about, please go online to universalspiritcenter.org. So, speaking of limousines, I decided to spend some money on a limousine this weekend since I couldn't drive. So I thought I'd pack a few friends. I spent all this money on the limo, and I forgot the driver. All this money I spent and nothing to show for it.
Good afternoon. I'm still processing the joke. So this Wednesday, I'm sharing with you what I call a spiritual tool. And I think of spirituality, and a lot of time, for years, it was just spirituality, and now we're realizing it's spiritual and it's power. So the spiritual power is what we're delving into, is what we're letting into our hearts. So Wednesday, I'm sharing something I call the magic rooms. And what it is a spiritual tool that we can use to know our spiritual power, to know that anything on the outside that says victimhood is simply on the outside, and that's not who we are. So I had a challenge, and I went inside my brain and meditated and came up with a process I'd love to share with you. It's a spiritual tool to know us from the inside out. I'd love to see you Wednesday. Thank you.
Oh, that's Margot Alora, not Deva. We had the wrong name up there. Yes. Thank you, Margot. Our Racial Equality Project. Join Pat Andreas for No Kings March on Saturday, June 14th. I'd love to see our community show up and support if you are participating in showing your strength for the community. So here in San Diego, along with Pat and others, you can sign up at the Yes table. It's June 14th from 10 until 1. You'll meet at the waterfront at 1600 Pacific Coast Highway. It's a wonderful way to share your voice, to share whatever you may have on your heart. And it's a peaceful, nonviolent opportunity to come together and share your word. So it's on the Yes table, June 14th. Our history, the history of human rights. What are human rights? Human rights are the collective rights of everyone. Every member of the human family is entitled to several fundamental freedoms and rights. This includes, but is not limited to, multiple civil, political rights, economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights. In short, human rights can best be described as the most basic rights of mankind. So that we remember that. Let us join together for our prayer. I will read the first line and you will repeat. Divine light that binds us all. We come together as one, knowing that in our shared humanity lies the essence of our strength. May we see the beauty in our diversity. Let equality flow like a river, touching every heart and lifting every voice. And so it is.
Let's stand up and greet one another. I invite you to stand up and say hello to somebody nearby, or all the way across the room. You can run over there. And then while we're doing that, actually, I forgot our virtual community. Also, let's wave to the virtual community in the back. The camera. Oh, I'm sorry, virtual community. I did it backwards. We love you. I think my sister Amy's online. Arvel is online. We love you. All right. The Hug Fest. The Hug Fest is now over. We're going to do a time for prayer and meditation now. So find your seats, okay? We have a number of prayer practitioners here at Universal Spirit Center. Some of them are local people and some of them are virtual people. So we have practitioners from Texas as part of our core, and Rev Sherry Ganand is coming from Massachusetts to do our prayer today. So she's going to be coming in online. And we also have Derek as well, Derek. So here comes Rev Sherry Ganand to lead us for our time for meditation.
Oh, blessings all. See, I escaped the trap of saying good morning. And it is evening here, as you can see behind me. Yes, so I am Reverend Sherry, and as Lee said, one of the prayer practitioners. And what we practitioners do, we prayer people, is we know the truth for you. And if you would like personal prayer, you can ask for it, request it several ways. One is by going online on universalspiritcenter.org to our website, and there's a place where you can fill out and ask for prayer. You can write it on the card in your seat pocket, as Lee mentioned. And also, we have a healing prayer circle that's going to be led with or facilitated with Patty Rusford after the gathering this morning. It's for about 10 minutes after our gathering. Just go to the back of the sanctuary, and then the group will go into the meditation room. So, yeah, get filled up in that way. And so just taking a breath for a moment here. This next part of our gathering is a time to both listen to spiritual words without from others, and then we go within. There's a reading, there's a chant to listen to as we meditate in silence, and then a prayer. I'll do a prayer to round out that part of that session. Now for the reading today, it will be up on the screen, and I will in Spanish. So just taking a breath to take in these words by Greg Braden from his writing called The Wisdom Codes, Ancient Words to Rewire Our Brains and Heal Our Hearts. Greg writes, the words we choose to describe ourselves and share our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs actually form the framework for the unity or separation that we experience when we think and solve problems of our everyday life. Our words. Gabriel.
I share those words in Spanish. Para aquellos que hablan español, las palabras que elegimos para describirnos a nosotros mismos y utilizamos para compartir nuestros pensamientos, sentimientos, emociones y creencias, en realidad forman la base para lo que nos une o nos separa al experimentar lo que pensamos al resolver problemas de nuestra vida cotidiana.
God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
Word that is all. That word that always was and always will be and is everywhere. And it is in and through us, and so our words, our thoughts, our consciousness are what bring about our lives. And it ripples out into the world. And so we acknowledge and know peace for peoples all over the world, despite outward circumstances. Yes, our words and our thoughts create that. And so in this time of gathering together, this is not a beginning, but an ongoing of a journey, a spiritual journey that we do in community, even when we are apart. And so we are thankful for this blessed time of being together, so grateful for all the people who came together to make this gathering possible, for all who will watch this later online, for all souls everywhere, for we are indeed one in the oneness of all that is the divine, that is spirit. We take that into our week, into all of our activities, our thoughts and our speech, and so grateful for this blessing, the release, and so it is.
jack. And just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is here right now. Yeah. I spent so much time living that I was afraid to die, 'cause I thought there was something up there beyond the skies. I tell you that it's been a long, it's been a long journey, but I know change is here. I went to my sister. I said, sister, can you help me, please? She said, good sister, I liked her, but I'm not able. And when I looked around, I was right back down on my very knees. Woo! There were times I thought I couldn't last for long. But right now, somehow, I believe that I'm able to carry on. I tell you that it's been a long, it's been a long journey, but I know a change is gonna come. I know, yeah. Things are gonna change, yeah. I know. There's a change going on. I know. There's a change going Sometimes it looks like things aren't changing, but always know, you gotta know deep down in your soul that there is a change going on.
Gino Walker and the Sounds of Spirit Band. Thank you, band. I would like to get up here all the time when I get this opportunity, and thank you guys not only for what you do here in this moment, but the hours of practice and rehearsals and stuff that you do. Thank you so much. Big hand for the band again. So our special guest speaker, actually, if he wasn't around, we wouldn't be around. He's instrumental in the visioning for this community from the very start, visioning for a community with Reverend Kevin. So he's part of our community for a while, and he's been his senior minister at his own center, we determined today, I learned, 20 years at the Hilltop Center for Spiritual Living in Fallbrook. So we welcome up our very dear friend, our very super smart and lovely friend and funny friend, Reverend Dr. Guy Williams.
Thank you. I did not ascertain that I've been there for 20 years today. I'm very, very aware of how long I've been there. And it's kind of interesting because one of the things that I'm noticing, so my talk today is called Illuminating the Twilight. And twilight is such a magical word for me, you know, because it's at the twilight that most wild creatures come out, right? And if we're quiet and we just create the space, the most interesting things will sort of come out. Twilight also indicates, you know, the changing of a season from one, the day season to the night season, whether that may be. And, you know, speaking metaphorically or speaking personally, you know, we often have our own personal twilights. And I'm realizing 20 years later that I'm stepping into a twilight. And one of the things that I have taken a promise to myself in this twilight is that I will not become Mr. Wilson. Y'all know who Mr. Wilson is? Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Menace. He is the grumpy neighbor, the get off your lawn kind of guy. And I have my own personal Dennis who actually pops his name, not Dennis, but he actually pops his head out over the fence and looks over to me. And it's an interesting thing. So I try to stay agile. I try to create novelty in my life, and I notice when I am rigid, like when Ethan is in his backyard and my dogs are getting hysterical. But I had this really interesting experience. I was at a conference last week in Seattle. It's a sort of a tribal thing that I do every year, and I just enjoy it so much. But I also noticed that there was a level of rigidity on myself on something else, and that was that, so let me back up. It was both illuminating, sobering, and exhilarating. It was a lot of things. And what I kind of, I've been in sort of this gig for, God, decades. And there's a younger group of people, younger meaning like in their 30s and 40s younger, who, you know, this is their world. This is your world that they're stepping into. And I'm realizing that this is a twilight for myself. And I have to look at my own rigidity if I take people serious or not. Anyway, there was this 30-some-year-old guy that gave this presentation that just knocked my socks off. He was intelligent. He was erudite. He was brilliant. He was funny. He was all these kinds of things, and extremely informative. And I heard about this person named Esther Pearl. Anybody know who Esther Pearl is? Good, because I was telling some friends and I thought, maybe I'm the only person on earth who doesn't know who she is. She's a psychotherapist, and I guess she works a lot with couples. So I started doing some research on her, and one of the things that I found out about her is that her parents survived the Holocaust. And after they were liberated from the death camps, they were in refugee camps, and they noticed something. They noticed something about those people in those situations that were starting to thrive, that were starting to grow and expand, and those people that were still withering or still locked in the trauma of the experience. And what her parents discovered, because apparently they're both psychotherapists themselves, but what they discovered is the people that were thriving were the people that were engaging. They were doing things, they were dancing, they were laughing, they were gardening, they were having sex. They were engaged in a sense of livingness. And what Esther Pearl wrote is this. She says, Eros is the antidote to death. It is the vibrant force that animates us, that allows us to feel alive, curious, and connected. It thrives in the space between the known and the unknown, the secure and the adventurous. It's not something we do, it's the way we become. It's that twilight place where Eros is alive, that livingness experience. And it's unpredictable, and it's messy, and it's uncontrollable. It is all those kinds of things. But that's where the juice is, right? That's where the novelty is. That's where the agility is. That's where the livingness is. And, not all of us have suffered as greatly as her parents have, but all of us find ourselves in areas, I think, that we find ourselves constrained. And I was also thinking about this just in another way of thinking about the twilight of the world that we're living in right now. I mean, it does feel like something is happening, something is shifting, and it's unpredictable, and we don't know where to go with it. But part of it, I think, is what I would refer to as the zombieification of us, of how we begin to work in this area and what happens. And I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, whether it's social media or cable news that's telling us what we should think and what we should be afraid of, or whether it's Google telling us what we think we know or not know, or it's Amazon telling us what we think we want or not want. It's like, oh my God, we are all living in assisted living situations. So how do we begin to move out of this kind of thing, and where do we begin to go with this? So I think even one of the areas where this can be most seen, in fact, what we're experiencing a twilight in, is this whole idea of authorship, authority, or even leadership. Years and years and years ago, I did this work called Tavistock, which is a form of group process. It was developed after the Second World War. And one of the main tenets of Tavistock is this, is that the first thing that a group does, and a group can be 2 people, it can be 5 people, it can be a community, it can be a church, it can be a country, or it can just be what's going on in your own head. But the first thing that a group does is pick a leader. And the second thing that a group does is plot to kill the leader. Because we're all working out one form of our relationship to authority or the next. And I think that in that, we're watching the twilight of our whole conception of leadership. Giuliano Prio Pettagrilliri, I'm sure I said that wrong, but he is an organizational behaviorist. And he says this, he says, all leadership in our world today comes down to 2 things. It comes down to a story and a list. And the story is the person that's on top. And the person on top is in the spotlight. And the list are the traits and qualities that that person has to keep them in the spotlight. And what this does is it breeds a way of looking at ourselves in relationship to leadership or authority, or how we begin to navigate ourselves in a world that comes down to basically 3 things. First, gaining attention. The other is rising to the top, and the ability to get people to do what we want them to do. And maybe there's another way to do this. I think what this does is this breeds this desire for messiahs or gurus or leaders at that level. Idols, every one of them. But I think, quite honestly, even those of us who are practitioners of new thought run the danger of being locked in a model. I was hearing something the other day that said that more people are willing to believe in the end of the world than the willingness to believe in the end of capitalism. Think that through. It's just not in the mind to think that this could be possible. And so I wonder sometimes myself, what things get locked in the mind that it's hard to think that they may not be possible. Because there's a part of us, and again, I think that new thought comes into this, where we want a world that is controllable, predictable and certain. Certain, controllable, and predictable. Controllable. Helmut Rosa, who is this amazing author and sociologist, says this. He says, a controllable, predictable, certain world is a dead one. Is a dead one. Because it's just not how it is. You know, Paul Tillich, who was a great public theologian back in the 50s, said this. He says, the opposite of faith is not doubt. The opposite of faith is certainty, because certainty operates as a defense against doubt. And that really any healthy faith should have room for doubt in it, because it's in doubt that we grow, because we question the things that we have assumed, that how we have structured our life and how we built ourselves, and then all of a sudden we go, well, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I mean, find yourself in a crisis of one form or another, and all of a sudden everything that you thought was working isn't working anymore. So how do we navigate ourselves through that? I think what we do is we begin to look at something different. So one of the things that I love about this community is how you all begin to model a new way of spiritual leadership, or how we can incorporate it in ourselves. Because I think it comes down to essentially three things. One is that what we want it to do is we want it to be a place that is safe enough for us to stay, free for us to choose, and alive enough for us to imagine new possibilities. So creating within ourselves and an environment that we're in a way to navigate through the twilight that we go through, because we are social creatures, is to associate ourselves in a world that is safe enough for us to stay, free for us to choose, and alive enough for us to imagine what is possible. So you may be thinking to yourself, and maybe you're not, but I really want to use this quote because I love it so much, is that all kind of takes place in our head. And you're absolutely right. As Dumbledore says in Harry Potter, of course it's happening inside your head, Harry, but why on earth should that mean it's not real? Why on earth should we not be real? Because, you know, one of the things, I think it's another false idea that we can get into in New Thought is this, is that, you know, I remember when I first got into this, which was longer than 20 years ago, that people would say pithily, you create your own reality. Well, actually, you don't create your own reality, because you happen to live on a planet with other people and other things that are going on. But what we do create is our experience of reality. And the experience of reality is predicated on our perception of reality. How we perceive something to be is how we experience what it is. Make sense? Even our idea of God. Dr. Holmes, the founder of our particular denomination, used to say that our experience of God comes from our perception of God. How you perceive God to be is how you experience God in your life. If you experience God as this sort of top-down idea, you know, something that Alfred North Whitehead said is, he said, when the early Jesus movement assimilated itself into the Roman Empire, they took all the qualities of Caesar and attributed them to God, so that God was just a bigger, nicer Caesar, but a Caesar nonetheless, a top-down, arbitrary beingness with certainty and predictability and power and all those kinds of things. And no wonder we're rebelling against it, because possibly the very thing that is keeping us from growing is a perception that we're having about how things are. Meister Eckhart in the 12th century, this brilliant mystic and teacher, said that in time our greatest obstacle to God is our belief in God. That maybe we should doubt that very idea of what we have, what God can be, and see then what begins to emerge holistically out of there. So for myself, I've kind of gone through this whole process, and it was something that I really wanted to share with you all in a class, but I have to say as a caveat that this last week I placed my stepfather in hospice. And so there's a lot of moving parts in my life right now. And I would just be grateful for your patience as I sort of navigate my way into this twilight of my experience to kind of go through. But one of the things that excites me and that I use is something called process thought, process philosophy, process theology even. And the best way to probably explain, I think, what process thought is this. Imagine a cat, and this cat is going through its daily experience of wisdom as cats do. It's getting up, it's doing what it does, and it goes here and it goes there and explains this and sees that and does all that. And at the end of the day, the cat comes back, and even though it is the same cat, it is a different cat from all the experiences it has, right? And so what process thought would say is, you are that cat. And God is that cat. And everything in creation is that cat, simultaneously interweaving and working each other in and through and as all of that. And if you think for yourself, you know, who you were at 3 years old and who you are today, you are not the person you were at 3 years old, except that you were as well. But just so many other things build on that, evolve from that. There's more novelty, there's more agility, there's more growth, there's more wonder, there's more awe. And what we would offer is just to consider is that the entire known and unknown universe is simultaneously experiencing and growing and responding, and there's this greater sense of novelty, evolution that begins to happen, and that even God is this idea. Process thought comes from particularly two people that were heroes for me. One was a man by the name of Alfred North Whitehead, and the other one was a Jesuit priest by the name of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And both of them began to look at that. But something that Teilhard said is, he says, you know, who will be the God of evolution? Where will that God be? How can we contain it? Because oftentimes the God that we perceive is too small for the experiences that are happening. And so how can there be creating this thing? And so this idea of God, then, is one that is uncontrolling and unrelenting in its love. Uncontrolling in the sense that God does not manipulate the universe. And so a challenge that you may have, especially if you were a fan of Emma Curtis Hopkins, as I was, is that this idea of God, you know, Emma Curtis Hopkins says that God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Well, I'll give you omnipresent, but not omnipotent and not omniscient. Because that would be impossible for God, because here's the bottom line. God can only be God. It can't be anything other than the nature of what it is. And if the nature of what it is unrelenting love, then if it knows something and does nothing about it, there is no freedom. If it is all powerful, then there is no freedom. If things are predetermined, then there's no freedom. And if there's no freedom, there cannot be love. But what if God, this concept, this force, this idea, whatever you want to name it, however you want to call it, this presence, this beingness, the one itself, is evolving and growing and experiencing, and in its uncontrolling love for us is luring us, inviting us, guiding us, but never ever forcing us. And what this is an invitation to is to ask ourselves, what does it mean to live free? What does it mean to live not only free from something, but free for something? So just imagine, if you would, that idea of freedom. If you were free from shame, what do you have the freedom to do? You know, and shame is one of those things, you know, shame and blame and regret, those three great pillars of our insanity. You know, blame that says, I'm a mess because that person did something. You know, regret is the one that says, it's too late, I missed the boat, I missed the whole thing. And shame says, I'm a mess because I'm broken. So what if we were free from the idea that there was something wrong with us? What would we be free to do? And if we were free from the rigidity that we may find ourselves slipping into, what would we be free to create and do? And if we were free to feel safe in our life, in our world, in our body, what would we be free to do? If we could be free from the stories that there's something wrong with us or that we're broken, what would we be free to do? And if we were free to imagine something new, what would that newness be? And I believe that it comes again from creating for ourselves this environment where we feel safe enough to stay, that we feel free enough to move, and we feel alive enough to imagine. Because again, Eros, that livingness, that life force itself, is the antidote to death. It's the antidote to the zombification that we're falling ourselves into, or we can be. So if we are to navigate then into this twilight period, we do so together. We do so in the experience of living in a world that is uncontrollable, and yet there is enough love for us to be nurtured, to respond accordingly, and to know that we are guided. It has been the promise since time immemorial. Even Abraham, and I love this story of Abraham, you know. Abraham comes from the Ur of the Chaldees. Abraham comes from the house of the moon, Ur, the moon, the temple of the moon. Abraham comes from there and he's invited, he's lured by this presence, says, come follow me and I will guide you. I will change you and you will be a blessing to the whole earth. That promise was made to him, and it's made to you and me and all creation. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Guy Williams. Let's give him some more love. That was awesome. War is holy and sex is obscene, then we got it twisted in this lucid dream, baptized in boundaries, schooled in sin, divided by difference, sexuality and skin. Oh, so we could hate each other and feel each other. We could build these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow and brick by brick. Keep yourself locked in, yourself locked. Yeah, we could hate each other and fear each other. We could build these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow and brick by brick. Keep yourself locked in, locked in. Oh, maybe we should love somebody. Hey, maybe we should care a little more. So maybe we should love somebody. Instead of punishing the bombs of holy war, what if sex was holy and war was obscene, and it wasn't twisted? What a wonderful dream, living for love, unashamed of the end. Forgiveness is the only real revenge. Oh, so we could heal each other and feel each other. We would break these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow and brick by brick. Keep yourself open, you're open. Yeah, we would heal each other and feel each other. We would break these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow and brick by brick. Keep yourself open, you're open. Oh, maybe we should love somebody. Hey, maybe we should care a little more. So maybe we should love somebody instead of punishing the bombs of holy war. What if love is holy and hate is obscene? We should give life to this beautiful dream. 'Cause peace and love, it ain't so far if we nourish our wounds before they scar. 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 Nourish our wounds before they scar.
My leg fell asleep. I had to step up on here. Hi, it's me again. This is our time for giving and receiving. So the leadership has come together. You know, we're having the experience of, our twilight of what was, and we've stepped into this beautiful new space and so forth. And there's a divine gap between what we're bringing in and what we're sending out. So we want to address that gap, and also the leadership is going to ask 3 specific things of us. The first thing is in consciousness, that there is a divine flow, that there's a divine source that operates through us. It operates through Universal Spirit Center and each of us individually. The second thing is to stretch a little bit. So the way that we stretch, the way we step into something new is to do that in that faith, perhaps with a little doubt. But we step into that faith that there is supply that's in our consciousness and collectively that we're going to make this place hum. Right? And that's why I said something about if you know of someone who has an event or something, spread the word about that. So do a little bit of stretch. You know what I remember. What did Netflix start out as? $9, and it's now 15 something. So it always inches up. So I goosed my giving a little bit just to kind of match up. So I invite you to do that as well. And the third thing is to get yourself, if you haven't already, onto auto give. You know, when you come to the gathering and you write a check, that's so great. And then when you're not here, that check's not here. So auto giving is a great way to keep that. That way we can rely on that money and we can bank on that all the time, each week. So if you have a gift, if you have yourself, put your hands on your heart and feel into that center place of you, that beating heart of you. And just imagine that that is also the beating heart of the living presence. That there's no lack in that. And it flows out so easily and so effortlessly. Easy to receive and easy to give. We just know this all together as we say together. So it is.
We thank each of you as well in our virtual community for all the bada-bing, 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 bada-boom, boom, boom that we receive from you. Thank you for that love and blessings. Let's sing our new congregational conscious giving song. Oh, money is coming to me. I can just feel it, and I believe
Money keeps coming to me.
it's coming to me now, and I'm not worried about how. Oh yeah, money is coming to me.
Come on, come on, come on.
The universe is working for me.
Working and working.
I can just feel it, and I believe it's working for me now.
Working for me
And I'm
now.
not worried about how. Oh yeah, money is coming to me. Hey, more than enough to live, more than enough to give, more than enough to share. Feel like it's already here. More than enough to shop, more than enough to drop, more than enough to save, with plenty left over to give away. Money is coming to me. I can just feel it, and I
Money
believe
keeps coming to me.
it's coming to me now, and I'm not worried about how. Oh yeah, money is coming to me.
So I invite you to raise your hands in blessing over these gifts. Just knowing that the presence of that one life is expressing itself as the flow of good into our center and into our lives. And we know this together as we say together. So it is.
Ah, money is coming to me. I can just feel it, and I
Money
believe
keeps coming to me.
it's coming to me now, and I'm not worried about how. Oh yeah, money is coming to me.
Come on, come on, come on.
The universe is working for me.
Working and working.
I can just feel it, and I believe it's working for me now.
Working for me
And I'm
now.
not worried about how. Oh yeah, money is coming to me.
Beautiful. I've invited Rev to just stay right where he is. He could stand up and take the mic from here to give us a benediction.
So let us just open our hearts and minds to that presence of the One. Opening and recognizing that in this moment we are safe to stay, free to move, and alive to imagine new possibilities. And so as we go into the life that we live at every level, may it be filled with amazement, wonder, and surprise. May it lead us to an experience of unity, drawing us into the place of reverence. And from that reverence, knowing the source is love, it is expressed in justice. And so we give thanks. We let it be. So it is.
All right, let's rise up together and hold hands as we get ready to sing out our congregational song, I Am Divine. Yeah. The light of love shines through me. The light of love shines. The light of love shines through me. I am divine. My mind lives peacefully. Peace is in my mind. My mind lives peacefully. I am divine. Love and peace shines potluck. I can smell the food happening back there. Get ready. And when people see you this week as you go about your day, they see that beautiful light that shines through you and they go, hey, I want to go where you go. Say, come join me at... I don't know if I would join anybody that told me to do it like that. I need to feel it up here. So I know if I don't feel it up here, they can't feel it at home. Come join me at... The light of love shines through me. The light of love shines. The light of love shines through me. I am divine. You are divine. We are divine. Have a blessed week.
Love is but a song we sing, fears we will die.